Okay, we got the amazing DJ Spark. But the first thing I'm going to do is let you know about it by reading her bio. Okay, so DJ Spark. First of all, a little bit of family history, even though it's probably in the bio. We interviewed her mother a little while ago.
Yeah.
DJ Silky D was the first female radio DJ out in California there. So, and this is her offspring. This is her her child that came up and been trying to just take over. When you hear me read what I'm about to read, you'll see it what I'm talking about when I say take over. First one name, like I said, the name is DJ Spark. Hopefully y'all can hear me okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, DJ Spark. And she say Spark, anything that activates or stimulates a luminous electric discharge, something that sets off a sudden force. The word spark is synonymous with powerful beginnings. Likewise, with a career spanning over 30 years, LA's most treasured female turntablist, DJ Spark, embodies and redefines every definition of the term. The offspring of the city's first female disc jockey, Silky D, of 1580 KDAY, K-Day, and Uncle Jam's Army. It was no surprise to most when this phenomenon began spinning at the age of 12, making her the world's youngest female DJ at the time. I already said history tones. Growing up with many legendary DJs practicing their skills in her living room, her curiosity for the craft was soon fed by their invaluable tutelage. Though merely in middle school, her prolific knowledge of music, married with newly acquired turntable skills, would soon capture the attention of the 90s supergroup Immature. Determined to make this young artist a part of their concert performance, Spark hit the road as official DJ for the group Immature. Since then, Spark's captivating talent and musicality has spread across multiple genres of music and afforded her the opportunity to work alongside artists and corporations such as Layla Hathaway, Pioneer DJ, Teddy Riley, Netflix, Kelly Rowland, Best Buy, Herbie Hancock, Carnival Cruise Line, T-Pain, Gibson Guitar, Omarion, Coca-Cola, Paulina Rubio, the Initiate Justice Organization, and MC Light. Although performance will always remain fundamental in her career, Spark has also made effortless expansion into education as a DJ professor at the prestigious Berklee College of Music in Boston, Massachusetts, and lending her teaching abilities for various school programs across LA. With a genuine love for the craft and immeasurable talent that has united and engaged music lovers across the globe, spinning in over 40 countries. I repeat, spinning in music in over 40 countries, this Spark has ignited the industry with fire, force, and finesse. Now, I'm not done there. She's the official tour DJ for these people: Kelly Rowland, Layla Hathaway, Amber Riley, T-Pain, Omarion, Teddy Riley, Eddie Griffin, Miss Trinity, Yo-Yo, Immature, and Paulina Rubio. Official DJ for these people now. And her clients over time has been Shannon Warner Events, ABC Network, Phi Beta Sigma, Divine Nine in the building, National Association of Guardsmen Chicago, Netflix, NABO, Disney, Higher Heights Organization, Initiate Justice Organization, Universal Hip Hop Museum, BET Network, CBS Studios, Bell Up Inc., Hard Rock Hollywood, Best Buy, Fox 5 Las Vegas, Macy's, Premier Girls Fast Pitch, Jaguar, Fly Girls Unite, Coca-Cola, the Grammy Association, Camp Spinoff, the Rogue Valley Scorpions, NWBA, Music Cares Inc., Sprite, actress Diane Agron, actor Derek Luke, Beast by Dre, San Diego Pride Festival, Long Beach Pride Festival, Los Angeles Pride Festival, Atlanta Pride Festival, New York Pride Festival, Taste of Soul Music Festival, Consumer Electronics Show, Sundance Film Festival, Music Messe Convention Frankfurt, the DJ Expo Atlantic City, Guitar Town Sunset Strip Art Auction, Sunset Strip Music Festival, BB Jazz Festival, North Sea Jazz Festival, Cal State University of Northridge, University of Southern California, University of Missouri State, University of Virginia, Carnival Cruise Line, All Deaf Digital, Russell Simmons, Jack Daniels Distillery, Whole Foods Inc., We Tide Network, LA Hair, Interscope Records, Atlantic Records, Amoeba Records, Pan African Film Festival, MTV, Revolt TV. And guess what? These are some countries that she's been in: Singapore, Bulgaria, Bahrain, Dubai, St. Kitts, Portugal, Korea, France, different cities in France, Australia, all over Australia, South Africa, all over South Africa, all over Italy, Kuwait, Iraq, Indonesia, Japan, all over there, England, Holland, Germany, Switzerland, Canada, Qatar, Romania, Austria, Luxembourg, and Spain. And I give to you the one and only DJ Spark, the DJ for the superstars. How you doing, DJ Spark?
All right, about yourself?
Okay. How'd you like that introduction?
I mean, you 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 did that.
Tell us a little bit about growing up. We heard a little bit in your bio, but tell us, a little bit growing up, you and your mother, siblings, or whatever, and how you got to the music business.
Well, okay, growing up, I'm what I like to call a village kid. And basically what that means is not just my mother and father are, responsible for raising me. So I have a host of uncles and great aunts and, you know, just an entire village, my grandparents, who are the reason why I am who I am today. Um, so a lot of eclectic interaction. It's I have a way of, I think because of that, like, a way of seeing things outside of myself and trying to give good advice because of that. Um, Also, I think, it's just my childhood was great. Lot of fun, as you can imagine, just having a whole tribe involved with bringing you up. Um, how I became a DJ. Well, as you know, my mom, her being who she is, DJ Silky D, I was always around, turntables and speakers and other DJs. And so out of that, I became curious, right? My stepdad actually, he would teach me when my mother wasn't at the house, and because he noticed that I was paying attention, to everybody that would come through, because they owned a sound and lighting company called Secret Weapon Sounds back in the day. And there would be a lot of DJs coming to the house that also are extended family for me. And I watched them practice in the living room, or set up equipment in the backyard just to test out speakers, or just to make sure that everything was working right before they would leave out for their gigs. And so my stepfather was like, let me show you this. And at first I just thought it was just something fun to do, and there came an opportunity at my school that I spoke up and was like, I DJ, and it was perfect for me. A lot of times in school, the parents are spending money and the kids aren't really making money, but I had the opportunity to make money by DJing a lot of the events at my high school and my middle school. So I think that was, well, actually, yeah, that was the beginning of it all, because Marcus Houston, the lead singer from Immature, who also is most known as Roger on Sister Sister, he went to my school as well, to my middle school, junior high school. And he told, his management, like, hey, there's this girl. She does the parties at the school. And so coincidentally, their management had also hired my mother's company to provide sound for they were doing Immature was doing a school tour. And so my mother's company would provide the sound system for that. And I went along because I had heard like, oh yeah, we're providing sound for this kid group. And it was there that Marcus was like, that's the girl I was talking about, and that led into about who I don't know. I think 12 years I DJ'd for them, touring, going overseas. Uh I mean, they were huge. Immature was huge. They were like the new edition, for our market.
How,
And
how old were you at that time?
uh 13. I was 13 because the first time we went overseas, I was 14. So I had already been DJing for them by then. So yep, yep. And yeah, that just, it like broadened my mind on, oh wow, this is cool. Still didn't think it was something I was going to do for the rest of my life, especially not as a primary source of income. And yeah, it I'm supposed to be a doctor. So so yeah, I gave up a full scholarship because I had already been touring and, making decent money. And I still went back to school though, because ultimately I'm school is my thing. So I did go back to school to get a degree later on at my own pace. And yeah, I mean, DJing has worked out to be an amazing career choice for me. I'm very grateful for all the opportunities that I've had over the years. You asked me something else. What'd you ask me?
Let me just say this though. Um, for people that don't know me, I'm Kermit Henderson. I'm celebrating 52 plus years in the music industry. Have over 200 gold and platinum records. Multi-platinum, diamond, 100 million sold, death row, all that stuff, and over 100 number records on Billboard. But I have an interesting story about Immature.
Okay.
I actually met them when they first came out and you may have been there at the Universal Studios theme park out there, and they
Um,
were introducing them to record label people. And I'm from retail, so they was introducing them to retailers and all of that. And like I said, that was when they first started. I don't even know if the single was out or it was about to come out or whatever. But anyway, with that being said, I had the opportunity to interview him years later, on a call like this,
oh, okay.
and it was really great. I had him and Mac Wiles the same night.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
yep, I had Marcus Houston and the Mac Wiles came. I actually have interviewed Mac Wiles several times, and I always mention to him, about the interview, because when I first interviewed him, I knew about him being on the Wire TV show, but I didn't really know a whole lot about his rap career at the time because I guess he just started. But anyway, even now, like, it's good for people. I just want to say this to everybody that's listening, whether here on Zoom or on YouTube or listening later, is that when artists, DJs, artists, or whatever, it's really good to engage. Because I saw a post on Instagram with Mac Wiles, and I got to it. It only been on there for like 5 minutes. There's only like 3 comments on there so far. So I put a comment on there, hey Mac Wiles, whatever, great thing, you look real young, whatever, and all of that. And he or whether he did it personally or whether his team did it or whatever, somebody responded back, yeah, OG, that's a blessing, that's another, and all of that. So whether it was him actually himself or an employee or whatever, that personal thing really make you like care about people more. And I just want to say that, not necessarily say that you're doing it or not doing it, but for everybody, every artist, everybody should try to engage as much as possible.
Yeah.
And there's a lady on X, which formerly Twitter, that has 1 million followers, and she tried to follow back everybody that's a real person, and like nobody else is doing that. That's another thing too. Like a lot of people think it's great to have like a million followers and you following 30 people. Like, okay, cool, but who are those 30 people, you know? So I
Right.
just want to share that, you know, like I say, our call is about education. Like you mentioned education, and you know, you teach at Berkeley and all of that, so I want to throw some education into this interview. So you know, that's where I'm going with that. But
Yeah, I think, social media is a tool um, for getting that special access to people, or even, creating a better relationship, right? It can be a tool for that. It really just depends on how you use it. I don't really, you mentioned followers, and I'm not at 10K yet on Instagram, right? And for me, like, that's fine. I don't really do a lot. I like everybody that follows me has clicked that button. Like, I don't agree with buying followers, or I like just the organic way. So I'm that baby that's like in between the old school way of doing things and the new school, because I'm a 70s baby. So um it's it's one of those things where social media for me is great and on one aspect, but on another, you know side, I'm a little private, so I don't share a whole lot or do um the engagement posts, I think, as well as another person. And there's no, like, I like it, but it becomes a lot of work, and I have to focus on my creative process. And social media, for a lot of my friends that I see doing the actual social media thing, it's hard for them to be present. So you got to watch that balance, but use it by all means, because it's a great tool. I would just say,
you know, you're actually too humble to be so famous. I mean, I'm reading names like Kelly Rowland and Layla Hathaway and Teddy Riley and all of that. You sitting up here like, oh, okay,
I
I'm
mean, I'm
just,
a DJ. I'm just, I'm just a DJ, and I say that, like, I think I'm just a DJ. I'm a human being like everybody else, and um, at the end of the day, we all eat and have ups and have downs and have bills, and we taking care of life things. So yeah, I don't. I refuse to work for arrogant people or people that don't have good vibes, and that's because that's how I like my surroundings to be. Like, uh, it had you it's just, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't really
are you saying that all money is not good money that you
all money,
choose?
definitely it
Right.
almost not good money. That
Okay.
is, yes. I refuse. I will not. You won't There's also certain things that I won't do as well. Like, I won't you won't see me DJ for like a cigarette brand. I don't smoke cigarettes. I
Right.
cigarettes. So there's just, all money is not good money, and they could probably offer me a lot of money, but that's just not who I am as a person, and I try to keep those kind of things consistent for me, you know.
You said so many things tonight I can relate to and that I've done. You know, I was pre-med in chemistry in college and all that stuff. I'm almost thinking we might have to take a DNA test of all this stuff I'm hearing you talk about. I'm like, wait, but this might be my daughter here. But no, you know, I appreciate the, you know, the humbleness, you know, in yourself and the young man we had earlier from Chicago, from East
Right.
Chicago, YK Soup. Both of you
Yeah.
guys are very humble for some of the big names that you've been associated with. Um, you know, and I'm putting your website in the chat just now, your about me section, everything I just read, that I'm putting a regular website where people can go to the very top of the click of the page and click on all your social media and stuff and follow you. You know, when you follow her, don't just follow her. You know, go ahead. You know, she may not can get to it right away because she's busy, but send a message. Hey, I saw you on Zoom. It was a great interview.
Absolutely.
That kind of thing. Send her a message too. Like I said, I have, sometimes I don't get to messages for a long time, but I will eventually get to them. And they may be in that other section. That you got to
I know you're
accept
talking
people
about,
in.
yes. Now,
Yep.
I'm pretty good at, I try to do things within like a 48-hour time period. So anybody hits me up, yeah, you'll hear back from me. That's for sure.
Okay. Appreciate that. Okay, I'm gonna go to some of the other people now. If you have a question, please raise your hand so I can see you. If anyone has any questions.
I saw someone said something, so thank you, Power 904 Radio.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I forgot how you do the hand thing.
Okay, well go
Um,
ahead, Power 904.
hey girl, I really do appreciate everything you've done representing DJs. I've always wanted to be a DJ, like madly and truly. Yeah, I grew up kind of like that, where it was always around me, and I always admired. It was always just something about it. It was, I don't know what the calling was, but I always was around it. And to actually hear your story kind of made me feel like, man, I wish that was me. Golly. But at the same time, I'm doing radio and I can kind of
Okay.
do it, so yeah, I mean, but the type of stuff you're doing, I always wanted to do. And I'm really proud to hear it's a woman and a person that young, getting into it. That's really amazing. You inspire me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And what I was trying to tell you, like, music is one of those things where it's not set to an age, right? Like you don't have to think because, oh, I'm in my 30s or I'm in my 40s, my 50s, my 60s. Like I some of the people that I have given private lessons to, I mean, they're all different ages. So don't think that time has passed. If you have time
Mhm.
for another hobby, I would just suggest, yeah, go ahead
I
and dive.
grabbed me a little console and
Okay.
yeah, so I'm starting it out because I'm so around it during the clubs and the events and things. I got to the point where I was dating DJs trying to get them to teach me
Oh
how
wow.
to do
That's
it.
fair. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, I really enjoy blending and the music. I have an ear for music. My dad was Motown, so we always was around listening to skillful singers, and stuff
Right.
like that.
That
So
part.
yeah, so definitely understand, and I appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you so much.
Ah, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? You can just unmute instead of raising your hand if you can't find it. Because sometimes I couldn't find it myself sometimes. But it's the heart at the bottom of the page. There's a heart that say reactions. If you hit that, you could send like little reactions like you can on your phone, or you can raise your hand when you hit that reactions. But anybody else have any questions or comments for DJ Spark, the DJ of the stars? Come on, Will Gamble. With all
We
your connection in the industry, I know you have to have a question or a comment. Well, let me mention some of the people on here while they getting their thoughts together. We got Queen Karen G, also known as Mommy Activist from Washington, D.C. We
how you
got
doing?
Felicia DA64, who is a rapper and celebrity hairstylist from Greenville, South Carolina. We got DJ Chill, who's actually part of the Wu-Tang family. A lot of his people he worked with as part of the Wu-Tang clan up there in New York, the family of them. He has an event on an app called Clubhouse every Monday and Wednesday,
Okay.
8 o'clock p.m., and every Friday and Saturday at 10 p.m. It's called the Bird House. That's why he got his logo up there, the Bird House. It's from the top music room on the app. Then we have, of course, Make Your Ear Hot, that worked with YK Soup that was in here earlier, and Darrell P. and LaCarlos, Make Your Hot. And we have model Kiana Smith, who she follows your lead as far as she, in her bio on social media, she has her email address. And she said, I usually respond within, 72 hours or whatever, letting people know, it's like I might not respond right away, but I'm going to get back to you within a certain period of time. So that's, she's out of, Mickey, you're out of Chicago, Illinois. Model Kiana Smith is out of Charlotte, North Carolina. She's actually she's done on a lot of events, been on different album covers and plaques and stuff. Then we have Groove Sesh, young man out of Florida, Orlando, Florida, that was an excellent musician and producer. Then, of course, you just talked to Power Radio, Power 904 Radio out of Jacksonville. Then we have DJ Punch 317 on all social media, one of the top DJs out in this area. He's from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay.
Then we have Paul, the Funky Skunk Thomas, who's doing a lot of amazing things for a senior citizen that, still out here doing this thing, doing big things, got some big events coming up.
Why'd you call him out?
What you mean call him out?
Why you say for a senior citizen?
Well, it's just, to me, it's important. Like I'm 70 years old. So to me, it's kind of important that people know that it's never too late to do stuff. Absolutely. It's never too late to be popular, never too late to work, never too late to, if that's what you want to do.
Okay.
Then we have Willpower Gamble, who's part of Throwdown Thursdays. That's on here every Thursday at 8 p.m. With Manny Faces and DJ Head Rush. Then we have Lareezy. His picture's a picture of him and one of his managers, Darrell, holding up his #1 plaque. His record was #1 for 3 weeks. He's from Nigeria, and he's an Afrobeats artist.
I was gonna say Afrobeats.
Yeah, okay. Afrobeats, and I send you everybody's stuff to check out. The next we have Sincere the PPE. She's part of the team, does a lot of stuff in the music industry. Then we have artist BBY, who has a song out now called Pack Me Up that was actually #1 for 4 weeks. And, had a lot of traction. Right. Then we have Brent Barlow from Los Angeles, a friend of John Wilson. I saw John's name come across the screen. So I guess he's in there somewhere. And we have Brung FTG, part of the Birdhouse family. And so I want to go to Queen Karen, and then I'm gonna go to John Wilson if nobody else has that, because John knows your mom. Go ahead, Queen Karen.
Hey, DJ Sparks, it's so refreshing to hear your story or your journey, because actually you're an OG. You started when you were 12. That's pretty far back track records. Some of the guys that call themselves OGs don't have that many years, That's right. So you're actually a OG with compliments, I want to say.
Okay.
I'm interested because you are a DJ professor, and at Berkeley, that's a pretty big deal. School of Music, and it's a big deal, but I'm just a little curious about the curriculum or how you teach that. Can you give me just a brief overview of your curriculum?
Sure. So the class that I teach there is called Turntable Technique. I teach actually only in fall. I tried doing both fall and spring. However, I travel from the West Coast. I'm a LA baby. So to go there, once a week for 16 weeks and then to double that and do it for 32, it was just a bit on my body. Plus I'm also still traveling, with whatever artists or whatever events I have. So it got a bit much. So I condensed it down to just fall at this moment. And so it's a beginner course. So I guess I'll start there. So what I teach them from day one is literally how to set up. That was a part of the way that I was taught. I had to learn how to get sound first before I could learn how to actually mix records. So I teach my students how to set up their gear. They're using turntables and a mixer. So we go through, the equipment setup and then the foundation. I show them videos about Grandmaster Flash, and um, we travel through that. Their objective for this course is they have a midterm, and the midterm is about a 4-minute mix out of music that they choose for themselves. And then the final project, I bring lights, and I make it more of a club atmosphere for them, so they can get the sort of the real thing. I let them invite their friends in, and the final project is about 11 minutes. They're able to use effects. They learn basic mixing, how to basically get sound from any type of gear, because I do some troubleshooting tests and things like that. Did that gives you the overview good?
Okay, I want to ask you a couple of things before I go to John Wilson. I also want to
That's
introduce
amazing. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Kermit.
No,
I was
go ahead.
trying to
Go
get
ahead.
myself. I was just trying to get myself off of mute. Thank you so much. That was amazing. And I think that they get the best when they get you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
As a former DJ myself, and I started in 1973.
Wow.
And so I had the tall, was it Shure speakers? No, what do they call them? Huh?
Serwin Vega.
You said what kind?
Serwin Vega.
I don't think it was. That was they were like a tall speaker, like about 5 feet tall, gray. But anyway, had those, and I had you have the one or two turntables, depending upon what kind of style you had or whatever. But my question for you is that how difficult is it for you traveling? Now I see vinyl behind you, but I'm assuming you don't take vinyl with you. When do you use vinyl? And when you traveling overseas, what's the difference between you doing an event, say in Los Angeles area where you at, versus having to get on a plane? And how does that work out? Do you have like a rider or something? How does it work out with this equipment? Because that could be expensive checking it in, and especially if people trying to get these cheap hotels, I'm gonna say cheap tickets and stuff to go places.
So for me, it really depends on the event. So I've done, a few events for Russell Simmons, and turntables all day. I don't care where that's at. That's how I would represent there. However, in other events, if it's outdoors, like I do this yearly festival in Vegas, and there I have a controller. So I'm bringing the controller. I actually have gear in Vegas too, because I live there. I still have a house there, so I have equipment there, and I also do the residency for Tony Braxton and Cedric the Entertainer. So I have gear out there that I can do what I need to do with. But for a festival, depending on the festival, either the equipment is always, I would probably say at this point in my career, it's about 85% provided for me, which, I submit my rider, and I let them know, like, okay, this is what I need. And there's also a substitution there if the gear, my primary gear isn't available at that time. Um, Turntables are something that I only bring out for that was my whole reason for bringing up Russell. I wouldn't go to anything that was like a classic hip hop, or um like a nod to the generations before, without my turntables. But most of the time, I'm using CDJs or some sort of controller. I also have a relationship with Pioneer DJ. I'm a demo DJ for them, so I have the unique position of being able to say, "Hey, I want to use this for this." And they'll send it to me, or wherever it needs to go in order for me to use it. um, so yeah, with I just get on a plane with my backpack, and sometimes, like, I have a private event for a client in Dallas at the end of next month, and I'm going to take a controller there, but the speakers and all that stuff, because the party is at their home, so that'll be there. They provide that. I'll get on the plane with that, and the client pays for the baggage if there's a baggage fee.
Have you ever had a situation where you go to an event and they supposed to have the, you know, like you just have your backpack and you're supposed to go there and just plug into what they got and it didn't work out?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I had the first thing that came to mind was sometime last year. I was doing a show with Layla, and they the gear, it was the CDJs were not working. So, and for anybody that's not familiar with what that is, instead of turntables, I had two CD units. Basically, they have a platter, so I can manipulate them the same way I would with turntables, but they weren't working. Well, and they only had one backup. So I did the show. It's why it's important to really know your gear. I did the show with one unit, but you wouldn't have known. I mean, you can see visually that I only had one thing, but yeah, if you don't know how to use your software and your hardware, then that could have been a whole different concert that day for me. But yeah, it's important to know your gear and prepare for, the troubleshoot. I always travel with specific spare cables or second laptop, because stuff happens. I back up my hard drive, so I always have two hard drives. I'm trying to think of the other necessities. My backpack is in the house, but
How many songs do you have in your
oh, I don't know. I have no idea. I think the DJ. I have no idea because I have a lot of files that are like special files from concerts. You know, like right now. So like I said, I DJ for Layla Hathaway, right? So I have show files for her. I still have show files from Amarian, even though I don't DJ for him anymore. Um, I still have some files from T-Pain. The only person that I DJ for right now at this moment is Layla Hathaway, as far as like, doing shows with on the road. However, I also have the Tony and Said show in Vegas. So I have, crates with these special files, and I have no idea how many files are on my hard drive.
Well, I just know that a lot of people say, hey, I got 30,000 songs or 40,000. I would just expect you to say some big
I
number.
definitely think I have more than 40,000 though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm talking about. Okay, I want to also shout out DJ Head Rush that's in here. He's part of Third Hour on Thursday as well, every Thursday, 8 o'clock. And I'm going to introduce these two guys. I forgot one, and I'm going to introduce these two guys together because they're both multi-platinum producers. They both are in the R&B Hall of Fame. They both have Grammys. And one of them is part of the Rock Hall of Fame band and was actually there when they cut the ribbon for the Rock Hall of Fame. And the other one is actually in the Rock Hall of Fame, has paraphernalia in there. And that's Michael J. Calhoun, who is the co-founder of the legendary group, the Daz Band. Of course, with that hit record back in 1982, Let It Whip, their most known record. And Michael has made history in the last couple of years by charting 6 different genres of music. And John Wilson, like I said, they're, have, equal accolades. And, which John is going to unmute us in anyway. I think Mike might be in the studio. But I just want to let you know who's here, like I say. And John knows your mom. Hopefully had met at the NAM or something they were talking about, the NAMM or something back a couple months ago. Go ahead, John.
Hi, DJ Spark. How are you?
I'm great.
You remember we met? I met you at your
I was going to say, I think we met.
Yeah, over there at the Pioneer booth. Me and you and Brent that's on the call is listening in. And I think we met in the aisle. There was somebody else, and you were getting ready to go and do your thing and everything. And I really like what you were doing and your mom. And I want to thank you again for keeping this art alive. I don't know if Calhoun if he's got his head in one of them speakers, but um, I remember, and Kermit can basically verify this. Growing up in the '60s, because we are a little bit over 21, there was a guy in Cleveland called the Gay Rose. This is in the '60s,
Okay.
okay, and he was doing this big time. He had a big truck with a big rose on it, and he was DJing parties. You remember him, Kermit?
Of course, I actually had my 25th birthday at that club down there on off 116.
Right, exactly. So,
Mystic Nights had my 25th birthday party down there.
right, exactly. So this art of DJing, basically, I first saw it around 1965 to 66 when I was old enough to go and see the Gay Rose. And we just lost me, what, about 3 or 4 years ago, Kermit?
Yes, sir.
But again, the first time I ever saw him in the club was called the Red Carpet Bells Party Center, Red Carpet Lounge in Cleveland on 105th. And he had both tables, turntables, and we're talking about 1968, 67, 68, and he was jamming, had both turntables going. So, I'm glad to see you and your mom and those in between. And there's another DJ, the original rapping DJ you need to check out. I have his air check. His name was Mike Payne, and he was the original rapping DJ on the radio. And this is probably like from 66 to 68. And people like his best friends were Leon Isaac, Jane Kennedy. He went from Cleveland to Houston to Detroit. And again, it's just great seeing, you and your mom and other DJs like you keeping this going. And I ran into what's his name? Ernesto. I ran into him in France. Are you familiar with him?
I don't know. What is he? DJ?
Yeah, he's a DJ. Is Ernesto? Yeah, Ernesto. I think I'm quite sure his name. He's real big over in Europe. He gets like $1 million a show.
Okay.
Yeah. And I ran into him in Paris,
Okay.
and again, seeing y'all keep this art together, together it really makes me smile. So God bless and keep you safe.
Thank you.
She probably want to meet him because she could do some of his council shows and she'll just do it for $500,000. They can get it for half price.
Right, exactly.
Well, yeah, it might be cool.
Okay, did anybody else have anything they wanted to ask DJ Spark before we get out of here tonight?
Salute to you, DJ Spark. This is Head Rush. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. I just came into the call a little bit ago, so I didn't catch the whole interview. But I definitely see your resume, and I've seen people that you work with. Layla Hathaway is actually one of my favorite artists.
Oh, that's great.
She's definitely one of my favorite artists. So yeah, oh yeah, I love my R&B. I love my music. Period. So I'm an open book when it comes to music. So a lot of the folks that you worked with and that you see pictures with on your website are actually musical icons to me. Like I'm a drummer first.
Oh.
So when I saw a picture of you and Herbie Hancock, I dang near hit "We're not worthy." I'm like, wait a minute, she got Herbie Hancock.
Yeah,
like, for real.
He's a cool. He's a very. I mean, he's such a calm, cool dude. The first time I met him was just like, I don't know. I couldn't get myself together the first time we met, and
Right.
because actually he is the reason for my introduction into education.
Really?
Yeah, he is a part. Well, he's a founder of the Thelonious Monk Institute of Jazz.
Right.
And that institute started an after school program for students here in LA at Washington Prep. And part of the program was to teach you that, hip hop came from jazz and certain elements of hip hop. So what they did was they hired me to do the DJing part. We had I brought in Yo-Yo. She taught the kids about, writing rhymes. We had a producer. I did that for about 5 years.
Right.
And the funding for it, I think the first 2 years were sponsored by like Pepsi and Southwest Airlines and things like that. It was such
Right.
a cool program. But the first day that I met Herbie was at the school, and he was on the piano, and he was like, "Go ahead," and I was like, I couldn't even get up. What? You want
Right.
me to DJ alongside you right now? So it was
Right.
fun. And, he introduced me to Grandmaster. Uh,
Flash.
ah, no, DXT
Okay.
Rocket, and it was like he's cool, and every time I see him, it's the same energy. It's just like as if I saw him, last week, or I see him regularly, like, and I don't, but every time I see him, he's just like, "Hey, Spark," and it's
Mm.
still he's definitely one of those people that every time I realize that I know him, it's like, yo, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know people that a lot of us will give up our day jobs just to have a conversation with.
It,
Like 5 minutes. It's like I quit. You know what I'm saying? So
definitely one of
salute
those.
to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing I want to give you your props and rose and flowers on is the fact that you've been in this game for so long that you've been able to transition. Like the fact that you have that record collection behind you says a lot about your your training wheels, so to
Okay.
speak, in DJing, right? So we know you came from the era of turntables and the mixer, right? Two turntables and a mixer. That's it. And all you had was your crate. So you actually had to know BPMs by rhythm, not because it was on the screen, right?
You had to know how to count them kicks in 15 seconds and multiply it by four. For real.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And the
Yeah.
fact that we talk to a lot of DJs throughout calls like this, and then a lot of the pioneer DJs or the elders of the game, they look down on controller DJs, and I found it amazing that you said, hey, when I'm not doing turntables with Russell Simmons, it's like if it's not a Def Jam joint, controller please. And
Right.
I appreciate that because that's someone that came into the game liking the DJs with the two turntables and the mixer. But my mom, like I said, I grew up a drummer. So when my mom bought me drums and I'm like, I want to do what DJ Q was doing on Juice, she was like, yeah, no. And that was the end of the conversation, right? So
Right. Right.
I'm sitting here with thousands of dollars worth of drums, not understanding the dynamic of what she's trying to put in my mind, right? So when I was old enough to get my own DJ equipment, I started off in the controller realm
Yeah.
and then went to turntables and learned from there. So sometimes I get, how can I say, self-conscious when we have those conversations. And for you to be a professional DJ in the light and in the lane that I would love to be in one day, it makes me feel a lot better about my path and how I was able to start with a controller and then go back to tables and then still work controller. Controller's my preference. You know what I'm saying? So
And I understand that. I think with anything, it's better to be multifaceted. Like, you could put only thing I'm not is a push button DJ, meaning you can't just sit, like, I'm not going to just go from one to,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
if it's a controller,
Mhm.
um, yeah, we're good. It doesn't matter. It should always be about your skill, right? Like,
Right,
you make people on the dance floor feel how are you keeping the floor consistent? You know what I'm
right,
saying? It shouldn't matter because ultimately people don't care. The people that's going to the club now, they don't care what you're playing with.
right.
You that's why it's a niche thing for me. Like, depending on who the gig is for, then I'm going to, if I bring my turntables, it's a sign of respect to whoever I'm working for. That's just
Right,
really how I feel about it.
right.
Because for me to bring my turntables is definitely way more work for me than bringing a controller.
Yeah.
And not to say that, but no matter what, I'm still going to perform the same way. It's just, let me do something more to
Hmm.
showcase, the art craft for people who will appreciate it, because not a lot of
Right,
people. So
Right.
you shouldn't feel any kind of way about using a controller. Like it's technology, and it's unfortunate that some of the old heads, like you said, yeah, they hate on the controller, but um I'm pretty sure in certain situations they would
Hmm.
like the convenience
Of the controller.
of the controller. So
Yep.
yeah, you gotta it's better to know than to not know. And that's
Right.
just because when it comes to your craft, there's not one person who can pick anything on the Pioneer DJ roster as far as gear goes, and I don't know how to use it.
Right.
Like
Right.
you can't
Right.
put a stun on me with any of that gear. Because yeah, it's better to know all the tools. I've had DJs not know certain things and be like, yo, how can, like, they're in a crunch the last 30 seconds of the song, and they like, yo,
Right.
how do I do this? And it's like, you gotta spend time with your gear. You gotta know, you have to
Hmm.
know everything about your craft.
Yeah.
That way no one can deny you.
Yeah. And another thing that turned me away from dealing with turntables in the beginning was the fact that you had to be consistent with the cosmetics, the small things. Like you had to have that SL box to hook up to your computer. You know what I'm saying? You had to make sure you had extra needles
Yeah.
or stylus on the side, because if something happens in the middle of a gig, you got to be able to run an interference, change your stuff out, and get it back in gear and start running. And then not only that, I used to work for Guitar Center, right? So them dang on them sure needles, they stayed
Oh,
on back order. So you
yeah.
had to wait like a year to get one. And in the order phones, they taxing for those.
Oh, absolutely. That was my
So
first set of needles that I bought myself, a set of order Yep.
yeah. So
They
it's like
they were, I think back then they were 125 a piece.
a
Gotta
piece.
have two.
You gotta
People
have two.
don't realize this gear costs a lot. Like people don't understand the investment that goes along with buying gear.
They
Like
don't.
it's I
They
break it
don't.
for the needle $50. Just
Right.
the stylus. Like
Just
it's
the stylist.
yeah.
And then there's one last thing. And while we were talking, I found myself thinking of how we become the people that we kind of despise. So, as a drummer, right, I know how to sit down at a set of drums and actually play, right?
Okay.
But then they have this new phase that came out about 5 years ago, finger drumming, where they take the MPC and they
Yep.
do this. And
Yep.
I was talking to another DJ and was like, I don't respect finger drummers like I respect real drummers. Look at me, see how the tables turn. you
Yeah,
know,
try not to be that guy. Try not to be that. Because it's
I'm
all
not.
ultimately how I see it, whether it's a controller or even just a little toy, like it's still spreading the community, right?
Yeah,
Like, because if we were like, nah, you're not a real DJ unless you on turntables, then our community gets smaller.
it
And
does.
it doesn't go past us. And so the whole purpose is for it to last. Like I really want, which is why I have spread my professor hat a bit more. I'm talking to other schools and just trying to spread myself on that end a bit more, because the knowledge can only be taught through those of us that are doing it, and at some point, if none of us are in this space, then all the teachings or the education part is just won't be anymore, and that
Right.
sucks.
It all goes out the window. You're right. Salute to you. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Likewise. What market, what city you in?
I'm in Indianapolis.
Okay.
So, yep, I've dropped my information, my Instagram, all of that in the chat. If you ever in Indy, let's tap in,
Okay.
link up. So, yeah, salute to you.
Okay.
Keep up the good work.
You too. Nice to meet
Yes, nice to
Excuse
meet
me,
you too. Thank
I want to correct myself. His name was Tiesto, not Ernesto. Tiesto.
you. Okay.
Yeah,
Tiesto, yes.
yeah, you're
Familiar.
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He's also headlining in Vegas as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. He back then he was getting like 1 million a show, and we ended up talking as we were changing planes, and I take my hat off to him. And also too, I neglect to tell you, I produced Layla Hathaway. I did a world peace choir. I was the producer and director, something like We Are the World, and she did one of the vocals for me. So tell her I said hi. Brent was also with me, who was on the call, this hiding and lurking, but he was on that project with me too.
I will let her know. I'll
Yeah,
seeing her this weekend. So yeah.
absolutely.
You know, when you say her name, my eyes get watery because her father was my fraternity brother. You know,
Oh,
Alpha Phi Alpha to the day I die.
okay.
Okay, and you know, I told her that, you know, when I interviewed her, and she was, you know, you and her are very similar. We interviewed her, and we did the interview, and the interview was over, and we went to the next thing or whatever, and she had to go, and Donnie Donnie from Donnie Simpson,
Oh,
there's
yes.
from BET. He
Yes.
had a new show he was doing, and she had to go do a taping for that, and she came back to the interview and just sat in there and listened. You know, like, and I was really impressed with her. You know, that, you know, for her being, you know, as humble as she was, you know, to do the interview, then having to leave for 20 minutes and then come back and just sit and say she enjoyed it. She had never done anything like that, what we were doing, and that she really enjoyed it and was just wanting to hear other people talk, even after the interview was over. That was just amazing to me. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
because normally when you do interviews, especially with, you know, with the major labels, you know, to give the artists, they say, okay, you got 10, 15 minutes, 20
right.
at the most.
Right.
I think the reason for that is that if the artists don't like the interview, they can leave without being disrespectful. They can say,
Mm.
okay, well, you know, it's been 15, 20 minutes. So I was interviewing Jeezy one day and it had got to the 20-minute mark. So I said, okay, thank you, Jeezy. Appreciate you coming on. You know, I know you got to go somewhere. He said, oh, no, I'm good. And and went on and finished, you know, and kept talking. But the
That's
interesting part of the Jeezy interview, the reason why I mentioned that was because his manager, I think it was, the lady that actually got him to come on the call, her mentor at Capitol Records had passed. So they were thinking about, you know, canceling the interview. You know, so that ended up, you know, not happening. You know, he ended up getting on there. And I had another situation that was drastic with the interview. I had an interview with Tyrese,
mm.
and his mom was in the emergency room. And he was at the hospital and stuff. And they kept saying, you know, hey, his mom got admitted to the emergency room and we may have to postpone this or whatever. And I had promoted it like crazy, right? Tyrese, like, come on, you know, and Jeezy, you know, big in hip hop. I had promoted them like crazy. So to me, if they would have canceled or even postponed, I look like just a liar. You know, like, man, you ain't never had no Tyrese book. You ain't never had no Jeezy. But
Right.
anyway,
Right.
make a long story short, so Tyrese, his sister showed up, and I actually talked to him again like last month on another Zoom call and shared the story with him, and he remembered, and he said, "Yeah, the sister that came to relieve me when I did the interview with you, he said she has passed away also." You know, so you know we had that conversation, but it was just amazing the fact this man stepped outside of the emergency room to go ahead and do an interview. And then, you know, like I said, of course, we knew we only had like 10, 15, 20 minutes. This man talked for about 90 minutes.
Wow.
So I respect people like, you know, Tyrese, Jeezy, your mom, people that, you know, if you got a little comfortability, you know, stay a little bit longer and whatever, you know, it is what it is. I mean, sometimes people say, hey, you know, they say, well, you know, hey, this started 9, I got to leave at 10. So you got to adjust it to make sure that person can get to the next thing they got. But it's just amazing sometimes to have people like yourself that have accomplished so much and did so much in the industry, and the names that you have, and there's almost no name that you have on there that I can't have some kind of story for,
Oh
you
wow.
know, on there. But like I said, when I hear Layla's name, it just kind of like hit me because, like, you know, her father just kind of
Mm.
hit me a little bit, and the fact of enjoying, you know, interviewing her. I
Yeah.
also wanted to mention, like you guys were talking about the sure needles and stuff, right? So
Mhm.
I come from retail, and I used to wholesale music and those needles. So the needles that y'all pay like 125 for, probably back then, you know, this is off the top of my head, probably cost me like $40 or $50 at the most.
Wow.
So I would take them and maybe sell them to a store for
Sure.
maybe, I would sell them to a store for half of what you pay for. So if you pay like 120, I would say buy them for 40 and then sell them to a store for 60, and then they sell it to you, or because I had a store too, I'll sell it to you in my store for the full price. You know,
Mm.
would almost never would discount those needles because the price came on there normally. The price is right on there on the box.
Mhm.
So, somebody like you, I might say, okay, DJ Spark, you cool with me? I'm gonna go ahead and let you have it for if it's normally 125, just give me $100.
Wow.
Now, and I'm still making $60.
On you back then.
I just wanted to share that with you and Head Rush, talking about these needle prices. I would always have that. And also, like I said, about me being a former DJ and of course, and being a distributor too, I always had like at least 2 backup sure needles for each of my turntables.
I
So I
got
wouldn't have that happen. Have you ever had a situation where when you had turntables, there's somebody maybe that was drinking or something, or just somebody mistakenly came on stage and hit your record and it scratched or something while you doing a performance for somebody?
I have definitely had the house party for moment, or house party, the movie House Party. That's a famous scene in there. Um, I mean, especially at festivals, that is because I'm depending on, the fire marshal's rules, but uh, I have people come on stage, and I might have a dance contest or festivals. I'm a different person. I become a completely different person at a festival. But yeah, you know, people, especially when they're, a little drunk side, they want to come and talk to the DJ, or they want to, in their words, let me wiggy wiggy, or do something. And yeah, that's I think that's just a part of the thing. A lot of people are very um in awe of the DJ, right? So when they get that liquid courage, then they want to come and tell you their story, and how they want to do it at that moment. And yeah, stuff like that has definitely happened. It's how you recover, though, that matters the most. And um that's where your mic skills come into play. And you make it not a big deal, and no one's upset, and you can move on from it. But absolutely.
Speaking of the liquid courage,
Okay.
how about somebody fighting around your turntable, and you got to protect your you got to protect your turntable or your system, and at the same time try to control the crowd, keep them calm. Have you had any of those kind of situations?
um I can't say I can't say that I've had that situation where someone is like in the vicinity of my gear. Of course, at clubs, things happen. Uh, but at clubs, like the security, especially here in LA, like, our clubs are pretty good with having proper security. They know how to diffuse or know how to get a situation gone quickly. So at yeah, I don't think that I've ever been affected from a, from a playing position where I had to navigate something. I can't say that. At least not that I can remember anyway.
Have you ever been concerned about security, like how people come up on stage with the artists and
Yeah.
like you know
Oh, absolutely. I have, in most of the scenarios, like I was with Amarion for like 9 years, right? Because I don't DJ for him anymore. His brother spins for him. And so, yes, girls fans, female fans, especially in that age group, oh, they're a bit crazy. So um yeah, I've had some crazy encounters with female fans specifically. The guys don't really they don't I've never been in a situation like that. Even with Immature, I can remember even back when I was young, you know, leaving a concert, and the girls are like rocking the tour bus, and we're inside of the vehicle, or rocking the limo, because back then we were riding in limos, right? So geez, there's a lot of stories. So um yeah, they're rocking the limo, and that's if you can imagine being surrounded by this this huge crowd of fans, and they are rocking the vehicle, and of course the driver can't just put the pedal to the metal because then he'll run over people. So he has to go, slow enough, and then security has to try to make, push the girls away. Like there's absolutely been some scary moments, from that perspective, but it's always female fans of whatever male artist that I'm with. Now um with Layla, I mean, she has security. I can't say that there's been like a super scary moment with her on the road, at least. Yeah, Kelly Rowland, can't say, because she always has had, some sort of security. But yeah, it's the female fans that are the craziest. You know, they I had a girl. I went to my hotel room. I was on the road with Amarion, and there was a girl in my room because she thought my room was Amarion's room. So I don't know how she got in there. I have no idea. But I opened my hotel room, and there was a girl in my room waiting for Amarion. Crazy.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Funny, but not funny, because that could have been a
Funny,
scary
but not funny.
situation.
Because we was gonna be tussling seriously, but she realized that I was his DJ, because when you're a part of a celebrity's entourage in any or on stage, like, people then start to follow you. Like, I'm sure that some of the people that follow me on Instagram, they know me from my days with the Marion, and so they like to know everything. And yeah, she recognized who I was, so it wasn't weird. She was just like, "I'm so sorry, I thought I was trying to, do you know what room he's in?" And I was just like, "Girl, I'm not about to tell you." You
Can
can.
I add, can I add to a story? Like, DJ Spark, you just sparked a memory.
Okay.
When we first got on the road, we signed with Paramount, and we were touring. I think it was us and Ohio Players, or us and anyway, I can't remember. Anyway, I think we were either in Buffalo, New York. Anyway, but my point is, we got through doing the gig, and I stuck my key in the door and opened, and was a girl laying in my bed. I said, "How did you get in here?" She
Yep.
said, "Well, I went downstairs and I told the front desk that I was your wife and it was our anniversary and we wanted to surprise you." I said, "Really?" I said, "You like the room?" She said, "Yeah, you can have it." I
You
closed
have it.
it. Right. Right. So I understand that very well. One day we'll sit down, we'll share them stories.
Yeah. It gets wild. Female fans can be bananas. Little cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. For
One of
real.
the reasons why I brought that up, by the way, and John, by the way, is the one that hooked me up with the famous Joe Jackson, the patriarch of the Jackson family, the Jackson Five, the Jackson family, all that stuff, Michael Jan and all that. And I had a chance to work with him for 14 years. So I learned a lot, talked to him about a lot of stuff. And one thing that was interesting is I asked him about the movie. That was a 5 hour movie. It seemed like it was 5 hours long or something. Seemed like it was long as ever. But anyway, about the movie, was everything accurate? And then John had to remind me, because I keep on forgetting, that the part that he said where when somebody tried to take the equipment and they went out in the alley or whatever, that wasn't really accurate. And that's why I even thought about it as far as like a DJ, because if you, like I say, I started in '73, so back then you got your speakers, your turntable, your whatever, your records and crates and all that stuff. So and normally you're at the back of the building or the loading dock, so something could actually happen. Or if you loading by yourself and have to send your crates out and go back and get somebody could run up and grab a crate, and you're like, wow, I done lost 50, 60, 100 records of stuff that I need that cost me like at least $5 a piece or something. So it's just the matter of saying, like, all these different things that could happen and just being ready for it and being prepared, like you said about the backup, different things that you take on the road, and the needles and everything else as far as backup. All that's very important to be ready to do whatever. To be ready is very important. I had a situation back in 1975. Matter of fact, it was at the famous Leo's Casinos building in the summer of '75. Leo's had closed. They had changed their name, and even that building had closed. But anyway, I was doing some teen events that summer, and the guy that John and I know named Dennis Cash was in a group at the time called Earl Gant Imaginations, and they were doing just a track date. So I'm playing the record, and they're singing into the microphone, and some guy comes up on stage. I'm just seeing somebody walk up out of my left eye and bumps the turntable while they're singing. So that's why I asked you that question, because I've experienced that myself, back in the day, even though we're talking about 75, so we're talking about 50 years ago, but I still, experienced that in the summer of 1975 with a group.
I think that's going to keep going. I mean, with the difference is I would love to see, turntables still being used 40 years from now. Technology tries to reinvent things, but someone's always gonna bump into the DJ's table. That's just inevident. Like, you can't not. It's just a part of the thing.
And then, like, DJ Headrush complimented you for having those the vinyl behind you. How he know you just didn't go to one of them LA swap meets and just buy that and throw them up there and they just decoration?
Nobody does that. As the great philosopher named Young Jeezy says, where they do that at?
Right.
Hey, I mean, she could be at a library right now, and that's just her background.
That would be harsh.
Yeah. No. They're
the biggest
organized, so they're organized too. So I put it to work.
The biggest collection I ever seen. I don't know, Sparks. You remember right there next to Paramount Studios on Melrose? It's gone now, but a friend of mine, he has As the Record Turns here in Hollywood. He's on Hollywood.
I've seen them. Yep.
Right, Kevin.
Yep.
Right in the back, but he used to be over on Melrose next to Paramount. He had 6 million records.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like going in the library, like the ceiling was like 20 feet tall, and all the way from the ceiling down, all the way across the building was 6 million records.
So A. Scott Galloway from the Urban Network took me to probably that place you're talking about, and that's where I met Warren G at before I even knew he was Warren G. He introduced me to Warren G. He said, "Yeah, this is Dr. Dre's brother." I didn't even know who he was. He was there looking through records, and he introduced me to Warren G. And later on, I got a chance to work with Warren G. And they actually had a listening party for him in the Capitol building. I think it was a piano downstairs or something, and they had the stuff upstairs. They had like a real nice dinner for us up there toward the top, somewhere at the top floor or something. So it's just amazing to go through some of these things, of experiences that we've had, John, over the years, and people we come across, just like even you, with your Grammy with Justin Timberlake, for example, just the fact of just names that people know, like you wasn't in here when I was reading her bio, but man, I don't know if you've seen the link for her website yet, but her bio is just outrageous. It's not even amazing. It's outrageous.
Well, like I said, we talked at the NAMM show, and her mom and everything, bragging on her, and she was very humble and everything. She let her spin and do the talking, So I'm very proud that you're keeping it alive and keeping going, and like I said, and you're teaching. I'm very proud of that too.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we appreciate you. If nobody else has anything to say, I'm not going to keep you much longer. Anybody else got any questions? A quick question or a comment from what they heard? Okay, with that being said, we definitely appreciate you.
All right.
And
no
I will be in touch with you soon.
Yes. And I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Thank you.
Not only thank you for being here, but thank you for being humble. Thank you for sending these great pictures from your photo shoot that I was able to use. I saw some of the comments on Instagram with people flirting with you and stuff on the post. Like, girl, you looking good, girl. Whatever. I saw all that stuff on there.
Yeah,
But
I don't do makeup often, so when I do, people they go nuts. My cheeks hurt so bad right now. But yeah, thank you.
mm. You look young too. I mean, even on here with with no makeup on, you look young. I know you can't. I know you can't be as young as you look. But I'm like,
I'm
gee, and even your mother looked young.
Yeah, I think and me, my mother, my grandmother, I think the fountain of youth has helped us out, and I
So
appreciate.
do you eat healthy?
I guess I guess most people would
Wait
consider
a
me.
minute. You don't eat no breakfast, do you?
I well sometimes,
See, see,
sometimes.
And do you
see.
use like
Breakfast food.
those like soaps, like wash your face with the different soaps to have to keep your face clean and soft and all of that
You
kind
know
of
what?
stuff?
I'm not really good with a skin regimen. I don't really have a skin regimen, like something that I do every single day without fail. I don't. Besides washing, that's it. But um, for food, I mean, I haven't had beef or pork since I was 15, which is 30 years ago. I don't drink soda. The only bad thing I could say that I put in my body would be alcohol. And now, like for the last, I'd probably say 3, 4 years, it's really not that often. And if it is, it's tequila specifically. Unless I have an uncle that wants to drink this special drink every year, and I'll do that with him. But outside of that, I don't really, you know, I just try to. I don't really eat a lot of fried chicken. I don't drink milk. Yeah, I don't know if that's considered healthy because I still eat,
Yeah,
chicken.
it sounds pretty healthy, and I don't smoke or drink, and I'm so much into not drinking per se. I don't even drink champagne. Like when people go out, I order a ginger ale because they don't know the difference. I get me a ginger ale. They think I'm celebrating a drink with them. I
Right.
was at an event in at South by Southwest with some of these expensive attorneys. The ones that charge like $1,000 an hour, right? With
Mhm.
some of them people at the Four Seasons Hotel in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
So we in there, and they had an event. My attorney invited me to it. So I'm sitting down there. I don't drink, right? So I'm just they come around. I mean, it was open bar. So I'm just like oh, give me some water, whatever, and all of that. So I kind of felt out of place,
Oh
and I
wow.
felt like I was in a movie setting, like you know, one of these Italian movies. Because after a while, I asked a lady because I just felt out of place. I asked the one of the servers. I said, "Do you guys have non-alcoholic beer?" They said, "Yeah." So once I grabbed a non-alcoholic beer, I looked up. Everybody was send them a beer, send them a beer, send them a beer, send them a beer. I felt like I was in a movie. I'm like, whatever, right? And then now, with all this drama going on now, I'm like, well, they set me up back then for me to drink something and forget what happened that day or something. But
Yeah.
just interesting to see that. But yeah, everything you said basically sound very healthy. You know, so that's good that you taking care of yourself and telling other people, sharing with other people what they might could do if they were interested and take care of themselves as well.
Just laugh a lot. I think that's the main thing that keeps you young is laughter. It's not really about diet or because my grandmother doesn't eat healthy, but she still looks young. I think that laughter is something, or just less stress. I'm not
I was
saying
getting ready to say that. The laughter sounded great, but I'm gonna say stress kills. So there you go. So if you
yeah.
have if you're having a good time and laughing, then like you said, that's keeping you alive. But if you're always stressed out, that's a whole nother animal.
It's important to do what you love because that's also about maintaining a good healthy balance, or mental balance, I should say. Whatever it is, just try to be positive, not so negative. Life happens though, so I get it, but try to move on from that. And yeah, I really do think that more than anything, it's really about your mental state or your emotional state that helps drive what you see on the outside. So.
Okay, before I let you go, I do want to thank some of the people that's still here after an hour or so, still on here. I want to shout them out right quick. We got Queen Karen, Mommy Activist, like I say, out of Washington, D.C. We got Felicia D864 on all platforms. She is a rapper and celebrity hairstylist out of Greenville, South Carolina. We got DJ Chill, who has an amazing room event 4 times a week on the app called Clubhouse. His organization is called the Birdhouse. That's the logo he got. And he also a type of person. He's like a top mix DJ. I could send him a record and he's gonna go and mix the hell out of it. I mean, I really mix it. So give a shout out to him for that. Then we got, like I said, he's out of New Jersey, part of the Wu-Tang family. Then we have model Kiana Smith, model from Charlotte, North Carolina. Then we have DJ Headrush that you talk with, that's from Indianapolis, Indiana, part of the Throwdown Thursday here. And we got Make Your Ear Hot, Darrell P. and LaCarlos out of Chicago. And then Groove Sesh Production, Chad, that's an amazing instrumentalist. Then we have Power 904 Radio out of Jacksonville, Florida. Chad is from Orlando. Then we have DJ Punch 317 on all platforms, an amazing award-winning DJ from Indianapolis, Indiana. Then we have Paul, the Funky Skunk, also has his nonprofit Unity for Life, and he has some shows coming up with the famous group Switch and his band, Circle City Band. And he got some stuff coming up, and he has a lot of records out now that sound great, and he's dropping a lot of records this year. He's doing stuff different than other people. I like the fact that people want to try something different. That's what he's been doing, so I salute him for that. Then we have Willpower Gamble as part of the Throwdown Thursday. Then we have Larizi, who the Afrobeats artist from Nigeria that lives in Chicago. Then we have Sincere PPE on Instagram at NE3 Music. She's out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Then we have artist BBY out of North Carolina, Atlanta, and LA. Then we have Brent Barlow, John's buddy from Los Angeles. And last but not least, we have John and Michael J. Calhoun, multi-platinum Grammy Award winners and everything else that you heard me say about them before. So thank you once again for coming. And we really appreciate you.
Thank y'all again.
You have a blessed night.
You too.
Thanks everybody for coming. Don't forget we should probably have Throwdown Thursday this Thursday. Also every Monday, Throwdown Thursday starts your weekend. Mixaholic Mondays every single Monday to start your week. And don't forget on Clubhouse, we got Queen Karen with the pet room. You don't have to have a pet to come in there. Just, we have fun, have a DJ come in playing music and all that good stuff. Cool TLC coming there, Chill and the Birdhouse family coming there. We just have a good time and talk about pets and keep Queen Karen happy and her granddaughter and all that good stuff. So thank you, everybody, and we will see you next time. Thanks again, DJ Sparks. You're very amazing, humble, amazing person. We respect you very well and your mother. Have a nice evening and good night to everyone.
Peace.